They are Japan's open secret, a clandestine force that operates in the shadows, yet is known to all. A paradox of tradition and modernity, the Yakuza embody the duality of Japan itself. The Yakuza, often dubbed the Japanese Mafia, are a complex and enduring presence in the nation's fabric. They are not just criminals. They are a subculture with their own rules, ethics, and codes of conduct. With roots stretching back centuries, they have evolved from bands of gamblers and street peddlers into sophisticated criminal organizations with tentacles reaching into various sectors of society. From politics to real estate, their influence is pervasive. Their story is a fascinating and often disturbing blend of violence, loyalty, and ambition. The intricate tattoos that cover their bodies are not just for show. They are symbols of their commitment and their readiness to endure pain for the group. The Yakuza operate within a rigid hierarchical structure, emphasizing loyalty and obedience. At the top sits the Oyabun, or boss, whose word is law. Beneath him are the Kobun, or followers, who owe their lives to their leader. Their rituals and codes of conduct, often steeped in a romanticized view of samurai culture, are both intriguing and repulsive. Initiation ceremonies can be brutal, involving acts of self-mutilation to prove loyalty. They are simultaneously feared and tolerated, a part of the social fabric that many would rather not acknowledge. Their presence is a constant reminder of the darker side of society. Their existence is acknowledged yet often ignored in polite society. People avert their eyes, pretending not to see the men in sharp suits with missing fingers, a telltale sign of Yakuza affiliation. This essay delves into the murky world of the Yakuza, examining their historical origins, their rise to power, and their impact on modern Japan. We will trace their journey from the Edo period to the present day. We will explore their violent methods, their economic influence, and how they have managed to infiltrate legitimate businesses. Their reach extends far beyond the underworld, affecting everyday life in subtle yet significant ways. And yet, in times of national crisis, they have been known to step in where the government has failed, providing aid and support to those in need. This duality makes them a unique and perplexing entity. Finally, we will consider the future of this enigmatic organization as it faces increasing pressure from law enforcement and a shifting social landscape. The Yakuza are under siege, but they are nothing if not adaptable. The Yakuza are a source of endless fascination, a window into the underbelly of a nation often perceived as orderly and homogeneous. Their tattoos, their rituals, and their very existence challenge the notion of a crime-free Japan. They offer a glimpse into a world where order and chaos coexist, where ancient traditions meet modern challenges. The hidden alleyways and neon-lit streets of Tokyo are their playground, a labyrinth where they thrive. Their story is a stark reminder that beneath the veneer of modernity, ancient traditions and shadowy forces continue to exert a powerful influence. The Yakuza are not just a relic of the past. They are a living, breathing part of Japan's present and future.
To understand the Yakuza, one must journey back to 17th century Japan, a time of societal upheaval and shifting power dynamics. It was during this period that the seeds of this enduring organization were sown, emerging from two distinct groups, the Bakuto and the Tekiya. The Bakuto were itinerant gamblers, masters of dice and card games, who preyed on the hopes and desperation of those seeking fortune. They were the hustlers and cheats of their day, operating on the fringes of society and relying on their wits and sleight of hand to make a living. In contrast, the Tekiya were street peddlers, traveling merchants who offered wares ranging from necessities to trinkets. While not inherently criminal, their transient lifestyle and the competitive nature of their trade often necessitated a degree of ruthlessness and a willingness to operate outside the law. Both groups, existing on the margins of respectable society, developed their own codes of conduct and internal hierarchies. Loyalty, honor among thieves, and a strict adherence to their unwritten rules were paramount for survival in a world where trust was a precious commodity. These early groups, bound by necessity and a shared sense of otherness, laid the groundwork for the structured criminal organizations that would later emerge and evolve.
As Japan transitioned into the Edo period, a time of relative peace and stability under the Tokugawa shogunate, the country saw significant changes in its social and economic structures. This era, spanning from the early 17th century to the mid-19th century, was marked by a strict social hierarchy and a tightly controlled economy. During this transformative period, proto-Yakuza groups found unexpected opportunities for growth. These groups, initially small and loosely organized, began to see the potential for expanding their influence and operations. While their activities remained largely illegal, they began to carve out niches within the rigid social hierarchy. Often, they provided services that the authorities were unwilling or unable to offer, such as protection, mediation, and even social welfare. This allowed them to gain a foothold in various communities. One of the most prominent proto-Yakuza groups was the Bakuto. With their established networks and deep understanding of illicit activities, they became heavily involved in gambling dens and loan sharking. These activities catered to the vices and needs of the lower classes, who often found themselves excluded from the more respectable avenues of entertainment and financial support. The Bakuto were adept at extracting money from those desperate for a lucky break. They often resorted to intimidation and violence to ensure repayment, solidifying their reputation as ruthless enforcers. This reputation, while fearsome, also served to deter potential defaulters and competitors. Over time, their reputation as ruthless enforcers began to solidify. This fearsome image was both a tool and a weapon, allowing them to maintain control over their territories and operations. Another significant proto-Yakuza group was the Tekiya. Leveraging their knowledge of goods and distribution, the Tekiya established themselves in marketplaces. They often controlled stalls and offered protection to legitimate vendors, ensuring a steady flow of income and influence. The Tekiya's ability to procure rare or illicit items, combined with their knack for navigating the complex web of regulations, made them valuable intermediaries in a tightly controlled economy. They became essential players in the distribution of goods, both legal and illegal. Ironically, the Yakuza's growing influence during this period was partly due to the rigid social structure enforced by the shogunate. The strict caste system left many individuals with limited opportunities for advancement, creating a fertile ground for the Yakuza to recruit members and expand their operations. With limited opportunities for advancement and a strict caste system, many individuals found themselves drawn to the relative freedom and potential for wealth offered by the criminal underworld. The Yakuza provided an alternative path for those who were ostracized or overlooked by mainstream society. The Yakuza, with their emphasis on loyalty and meritocratic advancement, offered a sense of belonging and purpose. Members could advance through the ranks based on their abilities and loyalty, rather than their social status or family background. This meritocratic structure was particularly appealing to those who had been marginalized by the rigid social hierarchy of the time. Additionally, the Yakuza's involvement in community affairs further solidified their position within society. They often stepped in to fill gaps left by the authorities, providing protection, resolving disputes, and even offering financial assistance to those in need. This dual role as both enforcers and protectors helped to legitimize their presence and operations. The Yakuza's rituals and traditions also played a crucial role in maintaining order and cohesion within the group. These practices, which emphasized loyalty, honor, and discipline, helped to create a strong sense of identity and purpose among members. This internal cohesion was essential for the Yakuza's survival and growth in a society that was often hostile to their existence. As the Edo period progressed, the Yakuza's influence continued to grow. Their ability to adapt to changing circumstances and their willingness to provide services that others would not allowed them to carve out a unique niche within Japanese society. This legacy of adaptability and resilience would continue to shape the Yakuza's role in Japan for centuries to come.
The collapse of the Tokugawa shogunate in 1868 marked the end of an era in Japan's long and storied history. The subsequent Meiji Restoration ushered in an era of dramatic transformation for Japan, as the country rapidly modernized and embraced Western technologies and ideas. This period of rapid modernization and upheaval, while challenging for many, proved to be a boon for the nascent Yakuza organizations. These groups, originally formed from bands of gamblers and street peddlers, found new opportunities in the changing landscape. As Japan industrialized and urbanized, the Yakuza adapted their tactics, exploiting the opportunities presented by a society in flux. They were quick to recognize the potential in the burgeoning urban centers, where traditional social structures were breaking down. They established themselves in the burgeoning entertainment districts of major cities, running gambling dens, brothels, and other illicit enterprises. These ventures not only provided substantial income, but also allowed the Yakuza to exert control over the local populace. The influx of rural workers seeking their fortune in urban centers created a ripe environment for the Yakuza's protection rackets. These workers, often unfamiliar with city life and vulnerable to exploitation, found themselves at the mercy of the Yakuza. The Yakuza's penchant for violence and their ability to operate outside the law made them valuable assets during times of political turmoil. Their readiness to use force allowed them to maintain order in ways that official authorities could not. They were often employed by various factions to quell dissent, intimidate rivals, and maintain order through less than savory methods. This symbiotic relationship with political entities further entrenched their power and influence. World War II and its aftermath provided further opportunities for the Yakuza to expand their influence. The chaos and destruction of the war left a power vacuum that the Yakuza were quick to fill. With the country in ruins and the economy in shambles, they were quick to capitalize on the black market, controlling the distribution of food, medicine, and other essential goods. This control over vital resources made them indispensable to many. Their wartime connections and their ability to navigate the chaos of defeat solidified their position as a force to be reckoned with in post-war Japan. They leveraged their networks to ensure a steady supply of goods, often at inflated prices, to a desperate population. The Yakuza's ability to adapt to changing circumstances and their ruthless efficiency in exploiting opportunities allowed them to thrive in times of chaos. Their influence permeated various aspects of Japanese society, from the shadows of the underworld to the corridors of power. Stay tuned for more insights into the hidden world of the Yakuza and their lasting legacy on Japanese society.